I'm Charushree Chundawat. I'm your host for this session on Education for All by Aarati Savur, an educationist and social entrepreneur. Savur is the CEO of Parisar Asha that supports a school to provide 21st century learning system integrating the environment and art. Ma'am, we are so glad you could make to the session.
Thank you so much, Charushree. It's my pleasure and honor to be over here.
So let's start the session. May I?
Sure.
So my first question is education in India truly inclusive?
Yeah, so this is really wonderful question because we are celebrating Azadi ka Amrut Mahotsav. And unfortunately, क्या हमें अभी तक आजादी मिली है? Are we truly in sense of free from, all these different issues what we are facing? And especially one of the major issue our education is facing is inclusion. It's there very beautifully written documents on inclusion, but when actually practicality, when it comes down to the practice or when we are actually on the ground and when we find out that there are a lot of discrepancies in this inclusion. So especially I will not agree to this that we are in true sense that we are inclusive in education. So yeah, your next question.
So my second question is, in terms of gender gap, we don't see many girls enrolling in primary school or higher education still.
Yeah, we do find that because as rightly, we say that India lives in its villages. So we are focusing mainly on our cities, like primarily our education system in cities is really good. But when it comes down to rural, and even if you see, if we are in Mumbai, if you go just nearby rural areas, you still find there is a vast difference between the rural and urban areas. And of course our situation today, why it is because of the environment. So I'm not talking about environment in terms of physical environment, but it's all about your social environment, it's your spiritual environment, it's your academic environment, it's your home environment that really matters. And every home, they have their own rituals, their own ways of thinking, their own mindset. So that is really, it's a major struggle for everyone. They are fighting for the mindset, and that's how we don't find, there's a major gender gap what we see in our country, especially in education.
So is there any way to bridge this gap?
Of course, there are a lot of ways, and main, I can say, because we work with schools, we work with parents, we work with students and teachers, because the child is in the center and we are all collaborators of the child's learning. So we all have to take our individual responsibilities in that child's learning. And child can be, I'm not talking about only as a girl child, but any like child for that matter, whether girl or boy. In that particular thing, main important thing is, we really have to educate our parents today, because parental education is very important. It is completely, that child cannot take decision on its own. Everything, like the way the parents are treating the child, that really, matters. The child's destiny is completely in the childhood. So that's where, it's very important that parents should be given that kind of education, not in terms of, academic education, but the social education, where they should really feel ki, okay, every child deserves, it's a right. When government says right to education, we Parisar Asha believes right to right education, because we have seen in schools many a times children are not interested in studies, whether it's a girl or a boy. But why they are not interested? Because the studies are so boring. Like today you will find our children are so hooked to gadgets. Why? Because it's entertaining, right? So we really have to make sure, like how we can make our education also entertaining in such a way that it is not just, giving entertainment, but also life skills, morals, values, and a strong foundation for the sustainability of our individual and also for our planet.
So while we talk about inclusion of girls and women in education space, is there anything happening on the ground level? What do you think?
Of course, there's a lot of things are happening, because when we talk about education, you take any kind of school or colleges, you will find maximum women teaching over there, isn't it? So we are over here in majority, and especially in education field, we are in majority as women. We are very proud, and I feel somewhere, like it is so important, because a woman is it's a symbol of love. It's a symbol. It's like a mother, and when the child comes to the school, that is another mother. The teacher is another mother. So that's where I feel, of course things are happening, but not that way, it should have happened in 75 years. There are other countries, they have progressed way ahead. But of course, we have a lot of challenges also. I cannot deny, those challenges, because we have poverty, we have politics, we have population, we have power games. So, and then first of all, we are a diverse country. How many languages that child is, should be learning? So there are a lot of challenges, and yeah, but I won't say I won't say there is no hope. Of course, there is hope, and we all are working. We all are stakeholders, like in small way, we are contributing. We all should contribute towards that, so that we can see a better tomorrow. Yeah.
So my question is, has online learning done more bad or good students at large?
Online learning due to COVID. Yeah, I think it's Nare Nana 50-50 because, yeah, during this COVID time, everybody had to move to this online learning, because either there was online learning or there was no learning. So at least something is better than nothing. But we also, like we being Parisar Asha, we work in the foundational years, we work in the primary years of child's learning, and we were completely against of this online thing or anything digital. This was a no, it has to be hands-on activity, it has to have not just at your academic skills or computer skills, but you also have to develop the life skills, you have to develop 21st century life skills, you have to develop attitude and values. But we realized, like during this COVID times, we said ki, yeah, but at least in this way we can be in touch with children, because there are a lot of children. See, especially when the schools were closed completely, we work with such vulnerable society, where we realized that school is more safer environment for a child than the child's home environment. So in these conditions, when there is online, at least there is something, like some interaction. I'm not talking about the study as such, but I'm talking about there is some social interaction through this online studies. And I'm looking at that only, because of course it's a major loss of 2 years for every child, like in that growing age, and anywhere in any stage, they have really struggled a lot. It's a complete loss for 2 years, but at least with this online, there has been something happening. I won't say everybody was like, like available, they were having all the resources of gadgets or mobile phones. There are families where there were no gadgets, the children were completely out of school, they were completely out of studies, absolutely. But there were families, and now slowly it's like, because of COVID, everybody is now digitalized. I can say now they are literate, digitally literate. Today you see anybody from any category, they know they have at least one smartphone for their home. Of course, I won't make a generic statement. There are, of course, families who are below poverty line, so they still have, they are struggling. But majority, what I can say, where we are working, what we have realized, there has been pros and cons of this particular thing. And I'm telling you, of course, there are a lot of cases where children are hooked to gadgets or mobile phones, but they were anyways, because we run this positive parenting and child helpline. It's a completely free mental health helpline, where we get calls from parents, from children, and where we have realized, like, of course, this is pre-COVID also, we used to get n number of calls where the children are completely hooked to the gadgets. At least now they're studying on the gadgets.
Absolutely
So
right.
this is, there are two ways of looking at the situation. I see the positive outcome of this, that yes, everybody is now digitally literate. everything is today, like online, and people are taking, of course there will be drawbacks also of that, but I think the way ahead is going to be the blended learning. So you have to use the online medium also, and at the same time you also have to go back to your traditional old age methodology, where there is hands-on activities, where there is, written communication. So it should be a holistic approach. It should not be only, online or only the traditional way. There has to be a complete balance.
So, ma'am, the integration of environment, art into learning is a brilliant concept. So, how will it work at school levels?
See, it used to be, I mean, environment is part of our life. Today, the kind of person you are is because the kind of environment you have received. Am I right?
Yeah, you are
Today, for example, what language do you speak at home?
Hindi.
Hindi. So why do you speak Hindi? Why don't you speak Tamil?
Because my parents, my grandparents, my surrounding, everyone was
Yes, yes.
speaking Hindi.
So, see, this is the way of learning, right? Nobody taught you this language forcefully, Hindi, isn't it? And you just picked up. So this is the organic way of learning anything. When it's there in your surrounding, when it's there in your environment. So many things we pick up from our environment which we are not supposed to be learning. Okay, Hindi film songs, nobody teaches us. So it's a very, very organic, it's the way of learning. And art, can you, remove art from our life? No. Today, look at you, the way you have dressed up, it's a way of, experiencing art, isn't it? Anything you see, find any article, any object in this, your room, around your surrounding, everything is created by somebody, so it's an art. Okay, they say there are so many different types of art, even our when you cook, the cooking is also an art. So there are different types of art, so we cannot remove that art away and the environment away. That's the wish of our learning. But unfortunately, what has happened is we are not getting grades for that. All these years we were focused on ABCDEFG, or now it's computers, or like now learning all different literacy or numeracy skills. But if we teach children through these mediums, it will, these media, it's, the learning becomes fun, the learning becomes so enriching, and it will not only give them that academic excellence, but it will also provide them opportunities for future sustainability. They can pick up a career also out of that, or whatever they do, in whichever field they go. If you are an artist, if you are sensitized towards your environment, you will be a good human being always.
It's true. So, ma'am, we would like to know your message for women and girls on occasion of International Women's Day.
So I think we all believe that girls are more stronger than men. Do you agree with me?
I totally agree with you.
So I always, listen to these stories that we have to empower women. We are already empowered. It's only thing is, we are not aware that we are empowered. So it's my message to everyone that be proud that you are a woman. In fact, we are blessed to be born as a woman, because not everybody can, have that love, empathy, and all these, life skills. I feel always that women have better than men. We can manage our lives better than men. But of course, no hard feelings for, like our men folks, because we both of us are required equally. Nobody is, like superior, or nobody is inferior. If we believe in our equalities, I think the life is going to be a wonderful, because I have seen, unfortunately today, because of this women empowerment, and feminism and all these things, issues, we get a lot of cases on our helpline where it's, husband and wife not getting along completely, and in that the child gets really suffered. So please, if you are a parent, then, somewhere I feel we all have to, respect each other as a family. Forget about being a woman, forget about being a man or anything. If you are a parent, you are a parent. I think that role should be, because that's your, sorry, instead of giving a women advice, I'm giving, at the whole, for the entire family, because we cannot live in isolation as a woman. We need families, right? So I think we really have to have strong families today, strong family values today, because we are finding our children are really suffering. And if you have a very bad childhood, you will not, it's very easy to raise a happy and strong child than to repair a broken man. So it's, and that completely depends on a woman, because you are a mother, you will be, or you will be a mother, if you opt to be a mother. But otherwise also, you can be an inspiration to so many. You are a trendsetter. And in our, we always call women as goddesses. So you are anyways, the form of goddess. So I think, yeah, you rock, women, you rock.
We rock.
Yeah.
So thank you, Miss Aarati Savur, for taking your time for this interesting topic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And have a great Women's Day. Happy Women's Day to all.